Welcome, everyone, to our Animalia program. Delighted to have you joining us today. For what promises to be a fascinating and fun look at the world of animals and perfume bottles and related collectibles. We're especially honored to have two guest speakers, outstanding guest speakers today. Martin Glick is joining us from the UK,
Oh,
and Monica Magnani is joining us from Italy. Each one will give their own separate, unique presentation, and after each one, we will have a Q&A session. So today we're going to start out with Martin Glick. And Martin is a collector of Georgian and Victorian scent bottles. He has been a collector for virtually most of his life. But in fact, perfume bottles are his second major collecting passion. His first being that of opera glasses. I had the pleasure of seeing Martin a few years ago at a UK convention where he was there and he shared some of his stunning opera glasses. He's also been on the Antiques Roadshow sharing his collection of opera glasses. The thing that he enjoys most about collecting is the learning, the studying, the research, and finding out about the social history about the objects more than he cares about the objects themselves. He enjoys the discovery of learning. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Martin and welcome Martin. We can't wait to see your rendition of Animalia.
thank you very much, Terry. Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm just going to share my screen.
The thing
Hopefully, you can see it. Just anyone, just wave their hand to say they can see it. Excellent. So, depiction of Animalia in scent and perfume bottles. Um, this is a start off with a picture of a snail. Middle Ages, they made snail-shaped smelly boxes, and they were used as apotropaics against the plague. Apotropaics are objects believed to have the power to avert evil, bad luck, or supernatural. So hopefully it was aimed at avoiding the plague. Moving on. Animalia. What is Animalia? It's the biological kingdom that encompasses all animals on Earth, and that includes humans. Depiction of animals goes back to prehistoric times to cave paintings. They serve as religious symbols, metaphors for the human condition, and precise scientific studies. Animals reflect our evolving relationship with nature. And that's an interesting line because you'll see as we talk about how the Georgians and how the Victorians and the Edwardians, their relationship with nature changed and how that impacted portrayal of animals on scent and perfume bottles. I'm not going back to Egyptian culture, but some of us will know that certain animals, had significance within the Egyptian culture. Cats symbolized protection and fertility. Crocodiles represented strength, and scarabs represented resurrection. What I'm showing here is a combination scent bottle by Henry William D. Doesn't go back to the Egyptian time. It goes back to Victorian times. But why I've put it here is because it's displaying on the barrel of the scent bottle an Ouroboros. It's a snake basically eating itself. It represents infinity, wholeness, and the eternal cycle of destruction and rebirth. The oldest known depictions go back to the 14th century and were found in the tomb of Tutankhamun. So always look out for an Ouroboros. I always struggle to say it. Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail. This scent bottle, just for anyone who's interested, is a combination. It's a scent bottle, as you see at the top. It opens up in the middle to display a vinaigrette. Obviously got a finger ring, so it would have been worn by a lady on her finger. And if you tip it up on its other end, it's a posy holder. Chinese culture. Animals deeply woven into Chinese culture, symbols of luck, power, and personality. And at the heart of the Chinese culture is the Chinese zodiac. What this scent bottle is portraying is a dragon. It's Chinese export silver, circa 1900. The dragon is the most revered animal in the Chinese culture, which is strange because it's not an animal, it's mythical. It's the only mythical animal within the Chinese zodiac. But for the purposes of this presentation, we will assume that it's an animal. If the Chinese are happy with it, then we should be happy with it. Circa 1900 Shanghai, amazing silver work overlaid on glass. Then we move to the Georgian era. What's interesting about the Georgian era is that the Georgians didn't know much about the natural world. It was before the Victorian era where explorers went out. So the Georgians were limited in imagery within scent bottles. There's a limited range of imagery. It was either domestic animals. Pets didn't exist really. Pet animals served a purpose, whether they were horses, whether they were farm animals. So animals served a purpose. People didn't really keep pets as such, and they didn't know about animals in Africa. So they portrayed what they knew, and if they didn't know, they made it up. So here we have a couple of scent bottles by James Giles with exotic birds. That's exactly what they are. James Giles wasn't an original artist. He very much copied Chinese imagery in the enameling of glass scent bottles. And on the right, we have a Chelsea scent bottle displaying doves. Doves would have been a common scene within Georgian era. And that's what people portrayed. And lamb, there's a lamb at the bottom. I'd forgotten about the lamb at the base. So that's really, they were very limited in what they could portray. And what's interesting about the James Giles scent bottles is that he went bankrupt. But 1870, soon after these were made, he went bankrupt, and his remaining stock was sold at Sotheby's. And Sotheby's didn't know what these birds were. They didn't use the word exotic. So literally anything, and a lot of stock was sold at Sotheby's, including china, plates. A lot of it had bird imagery, and they referred to all the birds as pheasants. So these are supposedly pheasants, but the reality is they're exotic birds. Exotic scenes, exotic birds. So limited animal imagery within the Georgian era, simply because they didn't know about the natural world. Compared with the Victorian era, where the relationship with animals completely transformed. The rise of natural history, animals transition from working commodities to cherished pets. Animals heavily influenced Victorian decorative arts, literature and painting. Animalia in painting and sculpture was elevated to new heights, and illustrated animal encyclopedias became sought after consumer goods. Animalia kept people in newly industrialized society in contact with nature, with its beneficial effect on the human spirit. And the Victorians were huge on symbolism. So they saw the hidden language in virtually anything. Fish is one of the images that they used in the development of scent bottles. It's obviously about novelty. The fish has been symbolic across ages and been used for smelling boxes and scent bottles. But by the 19th century, the shape was used for aesthetic rather than symbolic reasons. Here we've got three examples of fish. George Heath, a silver scent bottle, 1884. Stevens and Williams glass scent bottle with a Samson Morden fishtail mount. And then we've got the articulated scent bottle, which is Dutch. The Dutch made a lot of articulated items. and it was imported into the UK in 1890. The articulation lent itself very much to smelling salts bottles, Bessamim, and so it just, you know, the way that the articulation works on the fishtail, it's a natural thing. I can't think of anything else, any other scent bottle that uses articulation other than the fish. Fish signifies fertility, Christian faith, and in traditions like Feng Shui, a fish symbolizes wealth, abundance, and good fortune. So novelty, symbolism, huge in the Victorian era. And then we have mammal imagery. So we've got a selection of dogs. Was obviously a key one. I think there were some dogs made. The bottom left hand, the two dogs on their hind. I think there probably were some Meissen ones and maybe some Chelsea ones in the Georgian era, but principally most of the dogs that we see are early mid-Victorian. Here we've got one Meissen and one Continental one. Top left, I have posted this on the Facebook group that we're on. This is two cats on a double-ended scent bottle. Can't remember what date that was, but it's a chunky piece, unique. It's just a fabulous piece. I'll come back to that in a minute. Top right, we've got a crystal scent bottle with a dog dog's head as the cap. Center middle, we've got an Essex crystal, which I'll also come back to, and then bottom right, we've got Viennese cold painted bronze and Austrian cold painted bronze. The cold painted bronze and the cats are now in Perfume Passage, so if they're on display, you might want to look out for them. The Essex crystal, I don't know if you know much about Essex crystals. They were created about 1850, 1860. This is a cabochon crystal that's been reversed and intaglio cut from the reverse, and then it's been hand painted from the reverse with a single hairbrush. I've recently acquired this bottle. I think it's stunning. I think that to see the hairs on the you know, whether you call them whiskers or whatever, but those hairs on the side of it and the forehead, you know, there's some Essex crystals come in all sorts of qualities. I think the later you went in the Victorian era, the quality diminished. I'd love to know who painted this. There is a suggestion you could x-ray them and we might find out some initials on the back. The trouble is it's all within the scent bottle. This is a George Brace scent bottle. Or something, and Essex, the term Essex crystal is a misnomer. It was used. There was a Victorian miniaturist painter, I think, called James Essex, and for some reason his surname was adopted. He had nothing to do with Essex crystals, but his surname was applied to Essex crystals. So that's where the name. It wasn't in the area of Essex in the UK. It's just that someone adopted his name and it stuck. Bird imagery. Got a selection of birds on scent bottles and eggs. We've got the silver ones at the top, silver with enamel birds. And again, all the birds have symbolism. The falcon, vision, freedom and victory. The robin, renewal, hope and spiritual connection. And the kingfisher, peace, prosperity, good luck and transformation. Bottom left, we've got the owls. I call them my Parliament of Owls. That's a collective name for owls. These are fairly simple glass scent bottles with all of them silver mounts by Sampson Morden. Range of dates, late Victorian going into the Edwardian period. So it was obviously a popular scent bottle, small, would probably have gone in a lady's handbag. and so a popular. I can't think of a scent bottle where I've seen a range of them over a period of such a long period of time. And then we've got the bird's eggs, which a number of copies were made, but the principal exponent of the bird's eggs was McIntyre and Co. His registration mark is on all of them at the bottom. So if it hasn't got a registration mark, then it's not his. Bird egg collecting was huge in the Victorian era, and hence McIntyre jumped on the bandwagon and made a series of scent bottles in the shape of scent bottle in the shape of birds' eggs. I've even got a salt and pepper set with an egg cup made by McIntyre in the same style. We've got insect imagery, principally butterflies. We've got a lot of Thomas Webb. We've got a lot of Thomas Webb here. So top left, possibly Burmese ware. It's not easy to see, but beautifully decorated scent bottle. Obviously the cameo one at the bottom on the left. We've got the opaline one with gilding, and then we've got the double-ended scent bottle. I can't remember. I have a couple of double-ended ones like that, so I wasn't sure which one that was. I have one which is a monocular. One barrel is a scent bottle, and the other is a monocular. I can't remember if that's that one. That is Thomas. That's Samson Morton. That scent bottle. The one on the right is a large scent bottle. I just added that since we did a rehearsal the other day. There is a. I'm not sure if it's a butterfly or a dragonfly. If you look carefully, it looks more dragonfly than butterfly. But that's Queen's Burmese ware, Thomas Webb, and then we've got the spider's web and the spider. I'm sure a number of you have seen that scent bottle before, and that is by Royal Worcester, and it's got the registration mark, and it's got flies on the around the edges as well. And then we moved to finishing with the Edwardian era. So the relationship with animals changed again. More concerned about a deeper bond with animals. People were talking about animal welfare and ethics of exotic species. People were just not as interested in the natural world as the Victorians were. The newness of it had gone, and the concern about the ethics of keeping exotic species in zoos. So symbolism in the Edwardian era also waned, and the Victorians were very focused on morbidity. There was a new focus towards realism, social critique, and the emerging mechanized world. And here we have one scent bottle, just showing you both sides of it, by Omar Ramsden and Elwyn Carr, London 1905, and displaying what now they knew about the jungle animals. So we've got a male and female lion on the left-hand side, and we've got the elephant and the buffalo, very much in the Art Nouveau, arts and crafts style.
Well, thank you, Martin. That was certainly a pleasure to hear about, and the symbolism, the Victorian era and all that is very interesting to me. And I guess now I'm delighted to introduce our next speaker, Monica Magnani from Italy. Monica and I first met in 2019 at the IPBA convention in Chicago, and we have been great friends ever since. And I have seen her and her collection twice, and I am just amazed by it. It's variety and beauty is just fabulous. And Monica is a collector of early scent bottles, and she has an extraordinary collection of 1,300 pieces, not 1,301 pieces. A consultant for the Civic Museum in Venice for the history of perfume bottles. And in the past couple of years, Monica's featured her collection in 6 different exhibitions in notable places like Venice, Milan, Parma, and Brussels. So I think that's a testament to her research and study of the history of perfume bottles. One of the things I really love about Monica is not only her passion and expertise, but her willingness to share what she's learned with collectors from around the world. She's a wonderful ambassador for perfume bottle collecting and a wonderful ambassador for the IPBA. And I would like to thank you, Monica, for being here today. And I'm going to turn the program over to you.
Yes. Okay, this is just a joke. These are my pets. Just a way to introduce Animalia. Then we come back to serious thing soon. And here it is. This is my oldest, most antique scent bottles with animal, the carved ivory perfume bottle, and with 2 different sheen taken from the fable of Aesop. You can see the first one is the fox and the stork. I don't know if you remember the fables. The fox invited the stork for dinner, then it offers everything to eat in large dishes, so the stork wasn't able to eat. And then when the stork invited the fox, it only has a very big vase with long neck, so the fox wasn't able to eat. And this was there is always a moral in the fable of Aesop. You don't have to do to the other people what you don't want that make to you. In the other one, there is the fox and the grapes. The fox has tried to reach the grapes, but they are too high. So she said, "Oh, well, actually, I don't want them," and she goes away. This piece is at the moment in Bruxelles in an exhibition about the beauty and the ugliness in a Renaissance. It's a wonderful piece, probably it's French, probably it's Dieppe, but the only thing that I know is that all the experts that saw it are pretty sure that it dates 16th century. As Martin said, in a better way as I can see, I can say, in this period we are in the 18th century. The porcelains and bottle are very often with animals that are very familiar to the people. So we have lamb and goat and sheep. And the first one is a white porcelain depicting a boat who is trying to catch a goat. This should be, I'm pretty sure that even if it was Castelbach, the first manufacturer, they do this kind of thing, this should be Chelsea. And I'm pretty sure because the British Museum told me that it's Chelsea. So I upset this opinion. The other one, the quality is, as you can see, is lower, but I really love it because of the color and because of the little bird. This model was very, very popular and it was made from different manufacturers. We always we always speak about Chelsea, Meissen, the most important, but we have to remember that there were plenty of porcelain little factory everywhere in Europe in the late 18th century, early 19th. So we really don't know who made these little masterpieces. The 2 on the right is a couple. I didn't find them as a couple. I found the male before, and then I found the female. But surely they are very similar. The lamb is the same. they both have the gold anchor mark that, as we know, is not, well, we are not so sure because Mr. Samson, the ugly and awful man who reproduced all the 18th century porcelains and bottles in Paris in the late 19th century, also put the mark. So instead of watching at the mark, we have to watch at the quality and at the, especially of the hands, of the faces, to trying to understand if it's 18th or 19th century. Sorry, because I'm working with the double screen. Okay. Dog, dog is a symbol of fidelity, of course, and so it was it was quite popular. It was a present given for wedding, for engagements, especially the first one on the left that some of you probably have already seen in my catalog. All the pieces is built to be a symbol of love and of marriage, because the dog, the Brittany Spaniel, is a symbol of course of fidelity, but we have also the tooth and bottles linked together. We have the grapes that are symbol of fertility and also of Christian love. And we have the flowers painted that are forget-me-nots. That is, they are a symbol of constancy of love. So it was really thought to be something that has a deep meaning for the people who is going to receive it. The couple were kissing each other is a very popular model. It's called the Gallant Conversation. Is a Meissen model. And we have two animals here. We have a little dog and also another animal that I thought, oh, I hope it was a cat, but it's not, it's a lamb. So again, we have the lamb. Then we have another popular model that is the lady with the pug, the little dog, and this should be a Meissen because it has the mark of this two sword under glaze. But again, this was a very, very popular model, so we can find reproduces in different period and from different manufacturers. You have already seen the dog on his standing dog. The reason why this model was so popular, apart because of course the dog is very nice, but also because it was taken for a very popular print taken from a design of a painter called Kendler around 1750. And then many manufacturers decide to reproduce, and it has this a bit of a stupid face, but it's really nice, and it looks like he is waiting for a treat or something like this. The other one, the last one, instead is a later model. It is, I suppose, it of the end, middle or late 19th century. And this is a French piece. It's, I think, a piece of Paris porcelain. And birth, again, we have, well, the one of the left is possibly one of the most important piece in my collection. The shape is a very rare one. There is the only one that I know is in the museum in New York, in the MoMA. Again, I think that is James Giles, who worked in in London buying, he has a little laboratory, as Martin said, and he buy what they call whites, white porcelain perfume bottles, scent bottle, and then he decor them. The birds are typical. They don't exist, of course, this kind of bird. They are a bit exotic. They are also Dishveled. I don't know if I pronounce it correct, but they have a bit scruffy. How can I say? But this is a soft paste. I don't think it's hard paste. It's very difficult to say. It's creamware anyway, and the top is made. The stopper is made in ivory. Then we have a Meissen style scent bottle with this peculiar shape, and the birds are very easy to see in the wood around in the fields, and we have pickers. We have, I don't know the name in English, but you can see which are. And the last one is a Royal Worcester scent bottle painted by George Handley. And it's a typical Royal Worcester scent bottle with this cream porcelain, and it has two little cherubs heads on the sides. But apart from porcelain, that are the well-known one, I have some very strange birds too. Another material. You know that I'm very fond of strange or different material apart from porcelain. We have on the left a very rare Murano glass and aventurine scent bottle with canes that instead of showing the portrait as usual, show birds on roses. They usually on the books they are called doves, but I don't think they are doves. I think they are seagull, because in Venice seagulls are more familiar and more numerous than doves. And it's a beautiful piece, and it's quite rare. It's in perfect condition, and for me Murano glass has a special charm, and I love to collect it. Then we have again what I think it is a wedding present. It's not easy to read the cage in Vermeil, but there are two little birds who are nesting, who are building a nest. And this was a typical, I've seen this bottle in all the color. This green is particularly nice, but I think it was a wedding or if, for a fiancé, something that has a very strong, again, symbolic meaning. And of course, it's a finger chatelaine, as you can see. The silver one is an incredibly rare scent bottle because it's the only piece until now that is known made from the Huguenin brothers. It is signed. The Huguenin brothers were very famous because they made clock watch cover in silver. They were the most important Swiss silversmith for watches. But they made also this nice and bottle. Is a typical sheen in the wood. You have mushroom and birds on both sides, a different sheen. It dates about 1888, 1890. And it is the mark, the punches for silvers, and the sign of the Huguenin brothers. But then we have I have already spoke about this, I already spoken about this bottle because it's something very peculiar. This bottle was made, it's an opaline, it's white opaline glass, but it was made to look Chinese porcelain. we are again, we are still in the 18th century, and of course, the things, the objects coming from China were very desirable and very fashionable. And so they try this French, this French painters on porcelain tried to cheat the people that was going to buy it, depicting a sheen, a Chinese sheen that you can see is not really Chinese because the dress and the armchair are not Chinese at all. To be more truthful, he also had a white and blue porcelain vase in the sheen. And on the back, there is this little flying bird and the decors that you can find in all the Chinese cabinet in the palace, in the castle in Europe. Um, the the most beautiful palace usually have a Chinese cabinet with all the walls painted with this kind of decor because it was very, very Chinese. And so this was the aim of the person who made this piece. That is a march for, I can think and remember. Okay, I will find it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it's the end of the 18th century. Then we have a typical crown top silver overlay on porcelain. This is it was made with the technique of the electroplate, as you probably know. This is quite a rare drawing. The flying, it's not a stork, it's ibis. And it's a date 1930. As you know, I have a huge collection of silver overlay, so I have also the spider and other birds, but I choose this one because it's not easy to see this shape. And the last one is a very, very recent scent perfume bottle because it dates probably in 1960 or something like this. But I put it just to show that the love for scent bottle with animals is still alive, and they keep on doing this. This is a little gold enamel on white. Are very, very three special pieces. The one on the left, I really would like that the expert could tell me something about because I have no clue. I am not able to find anything to compare it on my many books. I think it's I think it's an English production, but I'm not sure. Because the shape actually is more German than English, is more Meissen. But the style of the porcelains, encrusted porcelains, the two little N, if you can see, there is a rooster and there is a nest, and there are two little hens because it comes from a private house in Turin. And so he is but I really don't know anything about it. So if someone of you has seen something like this, it has a gold anchor mark under the base. But as we know, it doesn't mean nothing. I go on the one of the right because it's porcelain again. This is a strange model. I haven't found something like this. I see a reproduction by Samson, but the quality was awful, really, especially of the face and of the hand. This one is beautifully made. Again, it has a gold anchor mark. And the Chinese, I asked myself why there is a Chinese girl on a rooster, and I discovered that there is a story about this little girl whose mother was very, very ill. So she decided to leave the house to go to look for a medicine. But he has no horse, no donkey. She didn't know how to travel. And so the rooster decided to carry her on her back, and they left together. And it's a Chinese story. And the one in the middle, you have already seen in my Palais Royal presentation in Chicago. It's a beautiful piece. It's made of many, many different material. We have wood, leather, porcelain, glass, metal, and fabric. So really it shows a great freedom of building something like this, and also a great fantasy. And the glass probably says St. Louis glass, and at the very top there is a peacock. The peacock has always been a symbol of royalty because is a presence and because it has this little crown on the head. I remember that all my pieces are less than 10 centimeters. They are all 8, 9. So can you imagine the one on the left is a 7 centimeter height. Some different animals. We have birds and deer. The three birds are of three different periods. The most antique is a silver one with a pendant. As you can see, the head open and there is a little glass vial inside with a stopper. And I think it's a German or a Switzerland piece. I'm pretty sure that the one in wood is a Swiss piece because it is a souvenir, amore per favore. It is a souvenir of Lucerne, and this is a Black Forest piece. The Black Forest objects usually are inkwell, so it's not easy to find a perfume bottle, and they were all made of with carving, usually carving wood. Sometimes, as you can see in the scent bottle on the right, in this case they carved a stag horn, and there is a fawn on one side and a bird on his nest on the other one. This is the only one that I have made of this material. The little teddy bear instead is quite recent for me because it's I don't know, I can't remember. I think it's maybe it's already 20th century. There is no. It's marked Blur China Stock-on-Trent, hand painted by J.R. Not J.R. of Dallas, another J.R. I suppose. and but I love it because it's cute, so I decided to buy it. The other two pieces, this one is etched glass with blue overlay, and it's a wood sheen with a deer. And again, a scent bottle, a fuchsia scent bottle, that is a souvenir of a place with a name I can pronounce. It's called Kleinbarseltal, something very German. And the symbol is an ibex. We discovered that is an ibex, for sure. So we have something a bit different from the usual animals that we see on scent bottle. Elephant, among my favorite animals. We have on the left a Palais Royal presentation showing a very, very heavy, I assure, very heavy bronze elephant, finely decorated with this touch of gold and with this caparison that hold two scent bottles. As you can see, all the details are made of bronze doré, and this is a typical Palais Royal presentation. So we are talking France about 1870, 1880, something like this. The one in glass in the middle, we have a discussion about this glass because many people think that it was made by Hetra, the German producer of glass animal, but it's not. I'm pretty sure of this because this elephant was an exhibition in Venice, and many glass masters come to see it. because it's a tribute to Capellin, who was one of the most important glassmaker in the first half of the 20th century. He founded even a brand, La Maestri Vetrai Muranesi, and everyone told me that it's a very, very difficult piece to make because it's just one blown glass. There are not pieces attached, but it's just one. And it's very, very difficult to do something like this. So it should be true, I hope, because they were expert. For sure, you know the lapis glass scent bottle because it's a bit a commercial for me, but I love it, so it's okay. It's by Hoffmann Schlevogт, and it date about 1920, 1930, I think, or maybe 1940 also, I don't know. Instead, the last one, the little atomizer, is a recent founding, is by Ketma, and there was an atomizer brand maker, the brand of making atomizer, and it dates about 1930 again, and it's in a very good condition because it retains the rubber pump and with the cotton, the yellow cotton. And it's very little, and it's very, very difficult to find atomizer of this size because usually they are big, they are huge for me. This is it's about 3 centimeters diameter, so it's very, very, very tiny. Perfect for my standard. Oh, insect, there is a huge mix, I understand, but I try to explain. The first one is a French piece. There is one, the only other one that I've seen is in the store collection, is a enamel on metal, is a cicada. It's a double cicada. In the middle, there is a little glass vial with a stopper. It's a typical Art Nouveau pieces. Then we have the three graces. I'm not hazard to say that it's Chelsea because it is Joanne, that is Ellen, so maybe. Anyway, it's a beautiful bottle. When I put it as an exhibition, I put it on a rounding little dish, so because it's beautiful to see it from all the other side, with a little butterfly as a top, and it's painted also on the base. Then we have this coquilla nut of the late 18th century, I think. As you know, these pieces were made by sailors or by prisoners in the French colonies. And what is amazing is that people that made this kind of things must have quite a culture, because on the front we have a scene from Iliad. This is Achilles that swear to take a revenge about against Hector for the death of Patroclus. Patroclus was his best friend. He went to the battle wearing the weapons of Achilles, and Hector killed him. So Achilles, of course, in a couple of days, killed Hector. And on the other side, there is what we call a love triumph. They were typical of the end of the 18th century. It's a mix of flowers, sometimes arrows, and musical instrument, and there is a butterfly, and this was a symbol of rebirth when the butterfly is in this mix of flowers. Then we have, I go back on the left side, we have again a glass insect, a glass animal made by Max Straut. We are 1940, German, and it's peculiar the use of the wire to make the little legs. And also, it's really, for me, it's amazing that these species survive until now because they are so fragile. It's incredible. Then we have a typical cylindrical French bottle in enamel porcelain. There is a lady, a young girl who is dancing with a butterfly. And on the very right, we have a typical Art Nouveau piece with a cage of these scent bottles made as a butterfly with turquoise. So a bit a different way of showing insect. And that's it. And this is the collection of my little zoo made of ground top. As you can see, there are really many animals, and I particularly love the rhino, the seal. But the rarest piece is the cats, the head of the cats, because as you can see, all the animals are with the entire body. This is the only one with very detailed, very well done. That is just the head of the cat.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you for Martin and Monica for creating such wonderful presentations for us today.